The night sky blazed with the brilliance of 1,000 suns. A woman stood there, bathed in celestial light, draped in the very fabric of the cosmos. She was a beacon of hope. Around her swirled constellations, a crown of stars adorned her head. In her arms, she cradled a newborn child. This infant, swaddled in light, represented the promise of a new dawn, but danger lurked in the shadows. A guttural growl echoed through the cosmos. A monstrous shadow unfurled, its scales glinting menacingly. A seven-headed dragon emerged, its eyes burning with malice. Each head bore a crown, a mockery of the woman's celestial diadem. This was a creature of pure darkness, a harbinger of chaos. Its gaze was fixed on the woman and her child, its jaws dripping with venomous anticipation. The dragon's hunger was insatiable, its desire to devour the light and plunge the universe into eternal darkness. The woman stood firm, her gaze unwavering. She was the embodiment of courage, her spirit unyielding. The fate of the universe hung in the balance, a cosmic drama about to unfold. Light and darkness were poised for a battle that would determine the destiny of all creation. The very air crackled with anticipation as the dragon prepared to strike, and the woman braced herself to defend the light. A tempest of celestial energy erupted. The heavens themselves seemed to tremble. Angels, their wings spread wide, formed ranks around the woman and her child. They were warriors of light, their armor gleaming, their swords drawn. Against the backdrop of the cosmos, an epic battle commenced. From the abyss, the dragon summoned its legions. Fallen angels, their eyes burning with the fires of rebellion, swarmed the heavens. A maelstrom of darkness clashed with the divine light, shaking the foundations of the universe. The roar of battle echoed through the celestial expanse, a symphony of clashing steel and righteous fury. Leading the angelic host was Archangel Michael. His presence was like a thunderbolt, his voice a clarion call to arms. He raised his flaming sword, a beacon of defiance against the encroaching darkness. Michael and the dragon met in a clash of unimaginable power, their forms blurred by the ferocity of their combat. The dragon, outmatched, was cast down, hurled from the heavens. It tumbled through the cosmos. The fallen angels, their ranks shattered, followed their master into exile. The woman, with her child safe, watched as darkness receded, but the battle was far from over. The dragon, consumed by rage and thirst for vengeance, descended upon the world. It pursued the woman, its wrath knowing no bounds, but the woman was given refuge, a place of safety in the wilderness. Two mighty wings, strong as an eagle's, sprouted from her back, carrying her away from the dragon's grasp. Enraged, the dragon unleashed its fury upon the earth. Floods surged, threatening to engulf the world. But the very earth itself opened its maw, swallowing the deluge and thwarting the dragon's wrath. The dragon, its power checked, but its fury undiminished, continued its pursuit, its shadow looming over the world. Section 4. The beast rises. A world in shadow. A tremor ran through the world, not of the earth, but of something far more insidious. Panic spread like wildfire as whispers of strange occurrences traveled from village to village, city to city. People, their faces etched with fear and uncertainty, looked to the skies, sensing a malevolent presence encroaching upon their world. Reports flooded in from every corner of the globe. Sightings of grotesque flying creatures with leathery wings and glowing eyes terrified even the most hardened skeptics. The very fabric of reality seemed to warp and twist. Protests fueled by fear and despair erupted in the streets. Strange symbols, ancient and unknown, appeared overnight, defacing public spaces and places of worship. Then from the depths of the ocean, a monstrous beast emerged. Its 7 heads, each bearing a crown of blasphemy, rose from the churning waves. 10 horns, symbols of power and dominion, adorned its heads. The creature, a grotesque mockery of creation, shook its colossal form, sending tsunamis crashing against the shores. This was the dragon's herald, a harbinger of a new and terrifying age. Section 5. The mark, a symbol of submission. The beast's influence spread like a plague, infecting every corner of society. Governments, once symbols of order and stability, crumbled under the weight of fear and intimidation. World leaders, bowing to the beast's power, pledged their allegiance to this new world order. A wave of darkness swept across the globe, extinguishing the light of freedom and reason. A decree was issued, a chilling edict that sent shivers down the spines of those who clung to hope. The mark of the beast, a symbol of absolute submission, was to be branded upon every man, woman, and child. This mark, a grotesque symbol of fealty, was required for all aspects of life. Without it, one could not buy, sell, or even exist within the beast's twisted dominion. Long lines snaked through desolate streets, filled with people herded like cattle. The air was thick with the stench of fear and resignation. Families, torn apart by suspicion and paranoia, whispered prayers in hushed tones, their voices trembling with a mixture of defiance and despair. The world, once vibrant and alive with laughter and hope, had transformed into a desolate wasteland ruled by fear and oppression. Section 6. The False Idol, a world ensnared. On a hill overlooking the ravaged landscape, a monstrous statue began to take shape. It was an idol of the beast, a grotesque monument to tyranny and despair. Workers, their faces gaunt and their bodies weary, toiled day and night under the watchful eyes of the beast's minions. The sound of hammers striking metal, once a symphony of progress, now echoed with the despair of a world enslaved. When the statue was finally complete, a wave of unease rippled across the land. The beast, its eyes glowing with unholy fire, addressed the masses. Its voice, amplified by unseen forces, boomed across the desolate landscape. It promised prosperity, peace, and security in exchange for absolute obedience. And from the sky above Mount Zion, fire rained down, a terrifying display of the beast's power. Many, seduced by the beast's false promises and cowed by its displays of power, readily surrendered their hearts and minds. They embraced the mark, not as a symbol of oppression, but as a badge of belonging, a sign of their allegiance to this new world order. But a flicker of resistance remained, hidden in the hearts of those who remembered a time before the shadows fell. Section 7. A New Dawn, the Triumph of Light. The woman hidden in the wilderness had not been forgotten. Her spirit, a beacon of hope, continued to inspire those who refused to bow to the beast. Whispers of her existence, stories passed down from generation to generation, kept the flame of resistance alive. The battle between light and darkness, once waged in the heavens, now raged in the hearts of humankind. And then, just when all hope seemed lost, a change occurred. The beast's promises rang hollow. Its promises of peace and prosperity turned to ashes in the mouths of its followers. The fire that rained down from the heavens brought not warmth but destruction. The earth, poisoned by the beast's influence, withered and died. The people, their spirits broken, cried out for deliverance. The heavens responded. A blinding light pierced the darkness, splitting the sky asunder. The woman, more radiant than ever, descended from the heavens, her child, now a beacon of hope, by her side. The earth trembled, the very foundations of the beast's power crumbling before the might of true righteousness. The beast and its followers, their reign of terror at an end, were cast into the abyss. The world, cleansed by the light of a new dawn, began to heal. The woman and her child, symbols of hope and redemption, ushered in an era of peace and understanding. The battle had been long and arduous, but the forces of light had triumphed. And in the end, love, compassion, and the unyielding spirit of humanity had prevailed against the forces of darkness. Please comment, subscribe, and like this video